What's up, everybody? My name's Trey. This is Ramsey. Welcome back to Better Days Sports, sponsored by nobody, because we don't have a sponsor yet. So if you want to be sponsored, help us by commenting so you can get some free shout outs or something. We would appreciate
Love
it.
that.
But on this episode of the podcast, we have a new segment coming to you, and one I think you're really going to like. So we are calling this segment Better Days Lineups. Basically, this is a start 'em and sit 'em type of segment. Ramsey's basically be going over who you should start and who you should sit for your fantasy team. And in this video specifically, we are going to be talking about quarterbacks. But if you are somebody that's new to the channel, new to the podcast, make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell to get notified every time we post a video. And leave a comment in the comment section down below. How do you feel about these picks? Would you start somebody that he benched? Would you bench somebody that he is now starting? We would love to see your comments down there. But Ramsey, go away and take us on whatever type of ride you got us going on, my boy.
Okay, man, I got a couple of these. I'm just gonna keep it real quick, simple, close to the cuff. For those of you who love fantasy football like I am, we take this serious. We really think that we're GMs up in here with the toothpick in our mouths, and we over here wondering who needs to leave and who needs to come join the team. So I take it as serious as the next man, and I think man or woman, and I think that when it comes to these picks, I feel confident. I think if you make these picks, you're going to win your week. So let's go ahead and get started. And let's start it out with quarterbacks. So number one on my list, I think you got to start Stafford. You got to start Matt Stafford with the Rams. He's playing the 49ers, and I get that they normally have a very good defense, but it's not as strong as it used to be. They lost Travarius Ward in the offseason, and they are dealing with a couple of injuries on both offense and defense. And we already know what Stafford did against the Colts last week, so it goes without saying that he's going to put up some points. You know what he does. He sees Puka, he sees Devontae, he sees Cheese. So we're definitely going to start Matthew Stafford today for your lineups. And at number two, my streamer pick for the week, I got Dak Prescott, guys. Yeah, I know. Dak Prescott without CeeDee Lamb. Are you on something? Listen, hear me out. Did you watch the game last week? They didn't lose. They didn't win, but they didn't lose. And Dak Prescott was a really big reason of that, because how did Dak Prescott score 40 points with George Pickens, Jake Ferguson, and whomever else that they have in company? I'm sorry, no disrespect to Tobert, but they don't really have the weapons that they should have with the Cowboys for them to put up 40 points against the Packers defense of all teams. So I think arguably Prescott is playing at an MVP type level. I can't believe I'm saying this right now, but I think he is. And if it wasn't for Prescott, Lions would be going fishing or whatever they do down in Dallas to keep themselves happy. So I definitely think you got to start Prescott. He plays the Jets defense, and I know you got to deal with Sauce Gardner and company, but they haven't looked as strong as they need to look. And I think that right now Dak Prescott is just better than what defenses are throwing at him. So I think for streamer picks, you definitely got to put Prescott in your lineup. And quarterback for number three, this isn't going to be a start. This is going to be a sit. I know that we're dealing with Baker Mayfield mania right now. He's playing absolutely amazing, and he has Tampa Bay looking good with the injuries that they're dealing with. He looks like they haven't skipped a beat. I know that they've had a couple of tough matchups, but yeah, I don't think that I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield this week. I think right now, just looking at how the setup is, I don't think that this is going to work out for him. I think that right now you need to sit back, scale, and weigh your assets for Baker Mayfield, because they go up against the Seahawks defense. And the Seahawks defense is the best defense in the league. And that is not an opinion. On paper, it's a fact. They terrorize teams. And as good as Baker is, and as good as he makes that offense look, I think that he's going to struggle. I mean, we saw how the Eagles gave him some fits. He figured it out, but they still made his life hell. So if you have the option to sit Baker Mayfield, I would sit him right now. But I get it. Sometimes you have the option, sometimes you don't. But if it was up to me and I had Baker Mayfield going up against the Seahawks defense, I would be looking at other options if I had the opportunity. But no one coming in at number three on the start list, I'm going to have Herbie, Justin Herbert. Yes, I know. I think that he has been having arguably an MVP type level of season. This is the best that we've seen Justin Herbert ever, if you ask me.
Yes.
And He's making all of his receivers look great. He's making himself look great. Harbaugh has this offense humming on a whole nother tune. And I think because they lost to the Giants last week, I think that Herbie and Co. is definitely going to have something to say this weekend. So you have to start them. And I will go so far as to say is Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson, and Ladd McConkey are going to get touchdowns this game because I think that offense is going to be that electric. So stay tuned to find out. But I'm definitely putting Herbie in my starting lineup for sure if you have him. And rounding out the sit list, I have two quarterbacks. If you have Bo Nix and C.J. Stroud, I would sit both of them. Just looking at how this is going to shake out for them. Bo Nix plays the Eagles. We already know about the Eagles, defending champions. Their defense is no joke. I wouldn't do that to your team. And the only reason that I say sit C.J. Stroud is Texas offense hasn't looked the way that it's supposed to or what we're used to when it comes to the productivity that C.J. Stroud is able to produce. And a lot of that falls on the lack of Joe Mixon. The offensive line doesn't give him any type of time to throw the ball. If you can't throw the ball, you can't move the ball downfield. If you don't have a running back, you can't advance the ball downfield. It's not really CJ's fault. I'm not starting him because they're not giving him a chance to let them be great. So if you have CJ Stroud, I would look at a different option like Geno Smith. He plays Indiana. He's looking for a bounce back game. He struggled against the Bears. I will go with Geno Smith over CJ Stroud this week. And I think that would work well for you to gain some extra points instead of running the risk of CJ getting sacked and losing points. Just let Geno Smith throw it downfield to Tucker or to Myers or hand it off to Gene. He's looking really good too, but we'll get to them in a minute. But I think, the Bo Nix, CJ Stroud, I would definitely sit them. And my special shout out for the week is going to be Daniel Jones. He threw 2 interceptions. The 3-0 start is over. They are now 3-1. I'm not going to say too much to that because even though they lost, it was a really good game against 2 really good teams when you look at it on down to the nitty gritty. They should have won that game. Won't get into specifics on why certain receivers had issues holding on to the ball or holding penalties that prevented touchdowns, but another touchy subject. He's going to look at Daniel Jones. He's going to be back in New York. He's going back to New York, and I think this is going to be the first time that he's going to be back in New York since they kicked him out of New York. I'm not even going to say they traded him. They kicked him up out of there. First thing smoking. So
they let him go.
Yeah. Exactly. They got him up out of there. So I think after losing a close one to the Rams, going to New York, your team is looking good. You know that you're a big reason because of that. I think that this is going to be the biggest moment of Daniel Jones' career, and I'm starting him for that reason. And that is going to round out my better days lineup for starting and sitting quarterbacks for the week. What do you think so far out of the picks, man? You got any opinions on what I've given out to the crowd?
I'm not going to lie. I really like them. So a big thing with me when it comes to fantasy, it's not necessarily the quarterback. It's the matchup that I find more interesting. Like you said, Baker has been cooking this year. But when you're playing arguably, the best defense in the league, you might want to look to some other options to get you some points on your fantasy team. But no, I love everything about this. I think it'll be interesting as we go over this week by week to kind of see, what your record might be going forward when it comes to these quarterbacks. So really excited to kind of bring this segment to you. Like I said, better days lineups, start them and sit them. This will be a staple. We're going to have this on a weekly basis. I don't know how we're going to transition this into different sports, but we'll figure it out. So, is there anything that you think may be a hot take?
In terms of quarterbacks or just in fantasy in general?
Whatever you got. Fantasy in general, probably.
Fantasy, hot take.
Probably some panic selling, probably some panic buying from all these injuries.
There's a lot, but I really want to stick to quarterbacks. The 2 biggest ones right now that the hot takes is we have 2 new quarterbacks joining the mix. We have Jackson Dart and Dylan Gabriel out of Cleveland, who was just announced today that he's going to be the starter for the upcoming game. So I know that Dylan Gabriel is available in the league. So if you want to take a shot on him on a blind guess to see how he's going to perform, go for it. Sometime in those big leagues, you can just go out on a shot and a prayer and hope that you strike gold. Dylan Gabriel could be it. Same thing for Jackson Dart. I know we lost Malik Neighbors, but as we saw in that game, Kid can run. He was darting all over the place, as they said on first.
Hey, I
take.
like that.
So I think that those are really two great streamer options. I think that one out of those two quarterbacks are going to have great second halves of the season. I'm not going to say both, but I'm saying one out of the two. Now, who out of that two is going to be? You're going to have to pick them up on the waiver wire and find out.
Interesting. And it really doesn't matter. If your quarterback's hurt, you got to pick up somebody anyway.
Don't have a
Might as well
choice.
give a shot in the dark.
Yeah.
Hey,
roll the dice.
Got to try some new things. Can't be scared your whole life.
Yeah. What's going on, y'all? So I'm about to just go ahead and dive into it really quick. And we already know that sometimes running back can make or break our team matchup for the week. So I think I have a list of people that will not only make your week, but will make your team moving forward. So let's go ahead and get started to it. Number one we got on the list, we got Chuba Hubbard, a.k.a. Hubba Bubba Max. Running back for the Carolina Panthers. He plays the Dolphins this week, and he had an okay game last week. The offense really got embarrassed. They only scored 3 points. I think they lost that game 45-3, if I'm not mistaken. So he needs a bounce back game. The Dolphins defense is weak. We saw what the Jets did to the Dolphins defense. I think that goes without saying. So definitely putting Chuba Hubbard in your starting lineup, and I think that he's definitely going to get a touchdown this week too. So definitely want to put him in that flex lineup and let him run. And my streamer pick for the week, shout out to the New York Giants. We got Cam Scatterboo. Listen. Scatterboo. Look, I did not see this coming. I can't even believe that I'm telling you this right now. And he has slowly but surely become the glue guy, the heart of that New York Giants offense. I mean, for all of the talent that they had, and all of the drafted talent that was highly touted that the Giants had made, Cam Scatterboo looks to be the best one out of the bunch. And that's saying a lot, right? And I get it that Jackson Dart only played one game. I get it. But Cam Scatterboo looks good. I mean, he looks like he fits the New York mold. And that is why I have Cam Scatterboo as my streamer pick of the week, and I think he's going to get another touchdown, and that'll be game number 3 in a row that he gets a touchdown. So we're going to let it ride. I think he's going to be the back that you need to watch out for if you see him on the lineup. And if you see him on that waiver wire, you need to get him now, not tomorrow, right now. Number 3 on the list, reliable, Alvin Kamara, running back for the Saints. They have been going through a little bit of a offensive renaissance in the New Orleans Saints organization, and I don't mean that in a good way. I get it that you're running with Spencer Rattler and you're trying to figure the offense out, and I get you trying to give the young man a chance, but you have Alvin Kamara in the backfield.
Give that man the ball.
Run the damn ball. I mean, I get that you have options and you want to have a multiple back front, but this is Alvin Kamara we are talking about. He is what you think about when you think about New Orleans football outside of Drew Brees. And he has produced with good teams and with bad teams. At the end of the day, you know that he's going to be there. You know he's going to give you at least 60 to 100 plus yards, a touchdown, and some flair. So you have to start Alvin Kamara this week. I know he's been off for a couple of weeks, but that's not been his fault. That's just because the offense has been trying to do too much when they need to trust their gut and run the ball. That should be the segment for this. Run the damn ball. That's what we should name this. That's how I feel, Moving on to the next start on the list, the arrival has finally come for Ashton Jeanty. I mean,
Thank the Lord.
Goodness gracious. Before Sunday's game, he was averaging less than 5 yards a carry. And they were calling him a bust. They were saying that he is the next Trent Richardson. And all it took was one game against the Chicago Bears, quote-unquote, strong defensive front.
Quote unquote.
That man put a hat trick on those Bears. He had a receiving touchdown and a rushing touchdown. The sky is the limit for Ashton Jeanty. I think that he's going to get 1 to 2 touchdowns this week. And looking at how he is looking for this offense, if he can produce a fraction of what he produced on Sunday, he's going to be a top 5 back for fantasy moving forward. And I don't take that lightly. If you sold low on Ashton Jeanty, congratulations, because you just got your lead back. You got your bell cow. He's here. He's figured it out. The Michael Myers stance is back in the backfield, and it looks like it's Boise State all over again. And if anybody has Ashton Jeanty, you should love it. You should love it. Um, let's see. For breakouts, I'm going to start Trayvon Henderson this week. And I say that for a couple of reasons. You know, he looked electrifying in the preseason, right? The team was very high on him, how he performed. They loved what they saw, but he was buried in that backfield. Ramondre Stevenson was still the lead back. That is who they had paid for them to be the back for Drake May. Then fumbles started happening. Then lack of production started happening. And Trayvon Henderson got 12 touches on Sunday. And I see that number continuously going up for Trayvon Henderson. So I think that he's going to definitely be the watch out breakout candidate coming soon in terms of running backs. All he just needs is that gradual increase in touches, go from 14 touches to 16, from 16 to 18, give him some schemes, and he's going to put up points. He's going to give you touchdowns because you already know what he does when he gets in the open field. He just needs the touches to get there. So I'm definitely starting Trayvon Henderson. He should be available in some leagues still. I'm not too sure yet, but if you see him on your waiver wire, you should definitely pick him up. I know that the New England offense gets a lot of hate, but Drake May looks good. And it's going to look better when Trayvon Henderson breaks out because he's the back that can catch too. So you might watch out. You remember how Alvin Kamara looked really good? He has that potential. So definitely start Trayvon Henderson this week. And also, streamer shout out to Quinshon Judkins, who has turned into the lead role running back for the Cleveland Browns. Honestly, he has turned into the focal point of the offense currently. At least that's how it was last weekend against the Detroit Lions. And I mean, listen, when you can go into Detroit as a rookie, score a touchdown, and go over 80 yards rushing with that defense, hey, hats to you. In terms of fantasy, depending on which league you win, he gave you on an estimate to 17 to 21 points. And the weekend before that, he gave you 17 to 21 points. So I have Quinshon Judkins becoming a top 5, top 10 running back in this league. If they continue to make him the focal point, I don't care if Dylan Gabriel is the starting quarterback now. It's going to be a situation of run the damn ball. I feel like a broken record at this point. Just run the ball. Anybody on this list so far, give it to them. You're probably going to have a really good chance of winning on Sunday. And last but not least, streamer Woody Marks. As we said earlier, Joe Mixon, we don't know what the hell's going on with him. We don't know if he just wants his privacy. We don't know if the injury is more severe than what they're leading it on to be. And when there's opportunity, Woody Marks said, I'm going to take that and I'm going to run with it. No pun intended. And he looks like he's going to be the lead back moving forward for the Houston Texans, which they need all the help they can get. C.J. Stroud is running for his life. He doesn't have enough time to throw to Nico Collins or the rest of his receivers. So he could use a back that could get him some pressure, to give him some space, give him some time to breathe so that this Houston Texans offense can continue to make their run and be the quote-unquote best team in the AFC South, as some claim that they are. So Woody Marks definitely should be available depending on how deep your league is. But if you need a running back, because injuries are definitely mounting up, take a chance on Woody Marks. I think that you'll be pleased with your choice there. And last but not least, we got to talk about the sits for the week. I don't like to list a lot of running backs that you should sit, but the two that I'm going with this week are Chase Brown and Kenneth Walker, a.k.a. K9. Running backs for the Bengals and the Seahawks, respectfully. The Bengals offense just looks bad. Chase Brown is not getting it done. He can't even get the ball to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Getting it to Chase Brown is a struggle in itself. Chase Brown can't produce. He doesn't look like the back that he was last year. I don't know if we can attribute that just to how disastrous this offense has been, or if he's just taking a step back from what we are used to seeing from Chase Brown. But I would definitely sit Chase Brown now and moving forward, at least until Joe Burrow comes back and salvages whatever season the Cincinnati Bengals have left. And for K9, the only reason I'm sitting him is because they have a dual running back system in Seattle, and it's pretty damn good. You have K9, and then you have Charbonnet as well. And if you're going to ask me, I think Charbonnet looks like the better back. I don't know if that's just because his age, but just in terms of the scheme that they have, he looks better fit for the mode. Now, K9 is still K9. We're not taking that away from him, but all I'm saying is you sit him because his touches are slowly getting taken away from him. He's not the bell cow running back that he was when he first came into the league. And if we realize how he was when he was in Seattle when Geno was the quarterback, they started splitting those reps up even when Charbonnet was a rookie. So now they are similar to the Detroit Lions. Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery, Charbonnet, K9. It's one of those modes in the offense that works for some teams, and that's just the mode that the Seahawks are going with moving forward. So I would definitely proceed with caution. If you can't sit him, you have to roll the dice and take your chances. But if you do, I would see if you could go with any of the streamers that I listed above. But that is my RBs for the week, the Better Days RB lineups for the week. How do you feel about the picks that I've given to the public community? What do you think so far? You think I'm leading them astray? You think I gave them a good blueprint?
No, on this one specifically, I think you know what you're talking about. I think you know what you're talking about. And I just want to put out there, I want to go ahead and just claim as the Scatterboo guy now.
Oh, yeah.
Scatterboo has the run style that I love to see in a running back. It's not necessarily conducive to having a long career in the NFL. When you run aggressive, when you seek out contact, it most times takes a beating on your body, but I absolutely love the way that he runs the ball, and it just gives that Giants team just a different type of aura about him. So Scatterboo and Gentry, was really excited to see his breakout game. I guess as soon as he changed his stance of I'm not standing straight up, I bent my legs 2 degrees, that somehow makes him not be able to run the ball. I'm not exactly sure, but I am excited to see them kind of lean on him a little bit more, as we've seen Gino's not afraid to throw it to the other team. So maybe if they can lead on Gentry, stop some of the turnovers, really excited to see that.
All right, guys, welcome back to Better Days lineups, and they are getting into the wide receivers of the league for week 5. So I'm gonna just do it a little bit different for this one. For number 1, it's not one receiver, it's 3 receivers. I want you to start all of the Chargers receivers. That's McConkey, that's Johnson, that's Keenan Allen. If Herbert is throwing the ball, I need you to start the receivers because all of them are cooking. It's like Keenan Allen comes back to the Chargers and he's revitalized. It's like he never left. We're looking at borderline Pro Bowl level production from Keenan Allen. Quentin Johnson, oh, okay, I thought he was a bust. I thought he couldn't catch. I thought he had bricks for hands. No, I just think he was a late bloomer. No, a very late bloomer. But still, hey, this season, he looks good. He's a deep ball threat. He went off in week 1. He made the Chiefs defense look like they should have been doing a scouting report on him. And I think that the Chargers offense and their receivers as a whole, when you got Herbert, you got Johnson, you got Keenan Allen, you got McConkey, you start them. Start all of them. If you're thinking about it, do it. Just start them. If you see them on the waiver wire, which I don't know how at this point in the season, pick them up, start them, sleep well at night. Now, let's go ahead and get to one of my special picks. We're starting Marvin Harrison this week. I'm sick of the Marvin Harrison disrespect. I know that we've been talking about him being a quote-unquote bust. I thought that was egregious. I'm like, listen, I just think that he has the yips. I think he just needs to take a deep breath, settle into the game, whether that's a touchdown, whether that's a good slant route, but he just needed to slow down a little bit. And what happened on Thursday Night Football last week against the Seahawks, it happened late, but it happened. It happened. He got that back shoulder throw in the corner, and it's almost as if the weight had been lifted from his shoulders.
It had to be. After the game that he was having, I was like, sheesh.
You're right. I mean, Kyler Murray had 2 interceptions that game, and neither one of them were his fault. They were Marvin Harrison's fault. So, yes, I get it from the mental aspect, but I think that we finally are starting to see the uptrend for Marvin Harrison for not only now, but for the rest of the season and hopefully for the rest of his career. So you definitely got to start him this week. And they're playing the Titans. A very, very underwhelming and weak defense. I think he's going to feast today as long as Kyler Murray can get the man the ball. So definitely puts Marvin Harrison in your starting lineup. Don't think about it. He is not a bust. He just had the yips. He had to grow through it, and he is here. So trust the man. Moving on to the next individual on our list, I have Mr. McMillan, Tetris, however you want to call it, for the Carolina Panthers. I think that he is finally going to get that elusive touchdown that he has been hunting all season so far. He has already had a 100-yard game. He's already shown that he is the most targeted receiver for the Carolina Panthers offense. He is being targeted an uncomfortable amount of times for a rookie receiver period. You have to start him. I don't care if he's dropping balls. He's a rookie. Let him grow through it. He's getting the targets, which means he's giving you opportunities to get points and to score. And that's really why we're here, right? So definitely put I'm calling him Tetris. I don't care what nobody says. If that is coined here, that is his nickname. Tetris McMillan for the Panthers. You heard it here first. A Better Days lineup exclusive. We need to get some sound effects. I definitely need to get a.
Don't worry. I might not be a great editor, but there'll be some explosions. Don't worry, I got to do
it. Yeah, I'm getting. Moving on to some of the sleeper receivers for this week and just overall, if you do not have Emeka Egbuka in your lineup, if he is somehow still on the waiver wire, or if you were smart enough to draft him, kudos to you, or go get him because he looks like the most consistent receiver for the Buccaneers and one of the most consistent receivers overall so far through the first 4 weeks of the season. He looks really good. I've heard nothing but great things from him out of the Buccaneers camp, from both Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield. And really quick tidbit, Baker Mayfield said that he was calling out a play and Egbuka corrected him on the play. Mike Evans said that Egbuka called his touchdown week 1. I wish we had that soundbite. And this is a rookie? Ohio State. Wide receiver start the man. Need I say more? He is the next great wide receiver coming out of Ohio State, and you need to have him in your lineup, on your team, period. Start him for the rest of the season. I don't care when Goodwin comes back, even though he came back last week. I don't care how long it takes for him to get used to the offense. I do not care. You have to start Egbuka. Egbuka has proven that he is going to be one of the very vital pieces of that Buccaneers offense moving forward. Moving on to another streamer, Davante Adams. Can we talk about the revitalization of Davante Adams in his football career this season? I mean, he looks damn good with Stafford throwing him the ball. Not Derek Carr, not post Green Bay Aaron Rodgers.
Post Achilles, yeah.
Yeah, post Achilles Aaron Rodgers. This is what Davante Adams needed. He needed a trusted, veteran, savvy, and patient quarterback. And that's everything that Matthew Stafford is. And Matthew Stafford understands who Davante Adams is. He is a system receiver where you get him the ball. He is open. You just have to get him the ball. Stafford understands that. And that is the language that Davante Adams speaks. So, yes, if you were leery about Davante Adams this season, I know he used to be a top 5 receiver in the league in terms of fantasy and overall. I won't say that he is there anymore, but in terms of fantasy points, he's definitely a productive top 10, top 15 receiver easily. Yeah. So definitely have to start him this week. Matt Stafford has revitalized Davante Adams, so I think that we can all breathe easily on that front. A special sleeper receiver pick that I have, streamer for the week, Romeo Doubs, Green Bay, is somehow proven to become the number 1 receiver in Green Bay and arguably Jordan Love's favorite target next to Tucker Kraft. I get that Matthew Golden is their rookie receiver who's supposed to be the game breaker, and he's still growing. I'm not going to say that he's not there yet, but he still has to develop into what he needs to become for that offense. He's not dropping balls when they get thrown his way. He is productive from the sense of when he is targeted, he does catch the ball. It's just not there yet for him. So Romeo Doubs, on the other hand, he's catching fade routes. He's in the slot. He's turning into the gadget receiver that Detroit likes to do with Amon-Ra.
Yeah.
Jordan Love is just doing it in Green Bay with Romeo Doubs. So I would definitely take a streamer on Romeo Doubs if he's available in your fantasy league. I think if I checked this morning, I think he's available in my league. So I'm definitely about to pick him up on my own accord. So I'm not giving you any advice that I wouldn't take myself. So definitely have to be on the lookout for Romeo Doubs. He's definitely going to be a surprise or sleeper if you need a quick fix in your lineup on a bye week, or just if you want to take a flyer on him because the Green Bay Packers are playing a weak defense and Jordan Love likes to throw it deep. So my sits for the week for the wide receivers, I'm going to go with only one. Chris Godwin for the Buccaneers. I think you sit him this week, and the only reason I say that is because they play the Broncos, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And you don't want to deal with that that type of defense. Actually, you know what? I'm actually wrong. They play the Seahawks defense.
Yeah.
And that's the best defense in the league. You don't want to play Chris Godwin, who's just coming off of a significant injury, who just came back, to be put up against the strongest defense in the league currently through the first 4 weeks of the season. So I would tread very cautiously with the Goodwin matchup with the Seahawks. But that is my wide receiver picks for the week, guys. That is your Better Days lineup for your receivers. How do you feel about the picks so far, man? Receiver City. These are my picks. This is my sheet. Tell me what you feel.
I love it. I especially like you sitting Godwin. I know some people are going to be really excited to kind of get him back into the lineup as he is healthy, but I don't think, first game back playing the best defense is necessarily where you want to bring him in at. So if he does play, I'm sure he will be healthy. I don't think his numbers will be necessarily like that. So I do appreciate you sitting him. Now, my favorite on this list is actually Marvin Harrison Jr. I feel like he's really going to have a breakout game against the Titans. One, because it's the Titans, and he needs it. It seems like the first half, or even really the first, seems 2.5, if not 3 quarters of last game, I don't know what's going on with him. His hands just were not working in the slightest. But obviously you saw that he turned it around at the end of the game, and I feel like they have a little bit of momentum going forward. Obviously the game did not end how they would have liked, but it is nice just to see him get some confidence back. So Marvin Harrison Jr. I think is going to have the best week out of all these receivers. And then I'm really excited to see Davante Adams with a good quarterback, because I know there's still a lot of juice in that tank, but there's only a handful of organizations that I feel like he could have went to that actually would have optimized him as a player. He could have went to the Titans and ended his career. We would have heard nothing to it. But being with a great quarterback does a lot for you, especially if you are arguably a Hall of Fame level type of receiver.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to your latest edition of the Better Days lineups, and we're going to talk about defenses today, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to go ahead and just start it out right now. My best plays for the week for starting them and sitting them, got to start with the Lions. Lions, I think, are going to be the best defense, at least projection-wise from a fantasy perspective this week. They play the Bengals. I hate to laugh like that, but I mean, yeah, they're going to play the Bengals. They're going to play Jake Browning, who can't even get the ball to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I don't see that this is going to be a very fun day for him. I see a couple of interceptions, maybe a couple of fumbles, but a lot of points for the Detroit Lions defense. So definitely my top pick of the week is the Lions defense. And coming into number 2, I'm going to put the Vikings.
Okay.
They play the Cleveland Browns, which again, great defense, but their offense, little to be desired. I mean, there are bright spots. Quinshon Judkins has turned into a lead role for that team, and he should not be left off the scouting report by any means. But still, at the end of the day, the Cleveland Browns are the Cleveland Browns, and it's Dylan Gabriel's first game as a quarterback.
That's the big part right there. That's the biggest part of this whole thing right here.
If he's going to be if you're putting him out there against the Vikings defense, I wish you would have prepped that better for the young man, but hey, throw him to the Wolves, why don't you? I just don't see that it's going to be a very productive day for the Cleveland Browns and team. So I'm definitely putting the Vikings at my number 2 spot in terms of defensive powers for this week. Lions and Vikings, you can't go wrong. I think right now for number 3, I'm going to put the Cardinals. Now, I'm going to say this. The Cardinals defense is sneaky good, good, I know because I've had them on fantasy a couple of times this year. So, they're not the team that you keep, tucked away in the corners. You just got to look and see the matchup. Oh, okay. They play the Titans.
Few takeaways.
Yeah, definitely starting them. Definitely starting them. Couple of Cam Ward interceptions. I mean, and that's no knock against Cam Ward. I think he has the potential to be a great quarterback in the league. But even he said it, and I quote, if we're going to keep it a buck, we ass.
We ass. So, yeah. We terrible.
So if my quarterback says that, all right, I'm just going to chuck it up to the game. Cardinals, they see that, oh, we're about to have a field day. I think the defense is going to be more excited to play than the offense on on Sunday when the Cardinals play. So we're going to see how that fares out, but they're definitely my number 3 defense for the week. And I only have a couple of sits for this week in terms of defenses right now for the Patriots. I'm going to say, even though they are a good defense and they could definitely win you a week or two, I'm definitely going to sit them this week because they play Josh Allen. Not the Bills, they play Josh Allen.
Yeah.
He's going to pick the Patriots apart. I don't care how good their defense is, even with Christian Gonzalez, who I think is a great defensive individual. I'm not starting a defense when Josh Allen is the quarterback because they're going to put up points, and a lot of them. So, do not, and I repeat, do not put the Patriots in your starting lineup against Buffalo, or you're going to look up and see that they might even have points. That's happened before where defenses have scored 0.
Yeah.
You will run that risk if you play the Patriots. And also, my last team that I'm going to sit for the week in terms of defenses is the Cowboys. The defense is already weak.
Yeah.
Trayvon Diggs looks like he's lost a step. Their team is battling injuries. Injuries is part of the game. We understand this, right? But at the end of the day, their defense is just not good. It's not good. The Packers put up 40 on them. You know, I cannot trust the Cowboys defense. And they play Justin Fields. Oh, Justin Fields is not – I don't care what you say about Justin Fields. As a fantasy quarterback, he is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
He gave you 30 points against the Dolphins this past week. And he went off for a 42-yard touchdown. And that's your quarterback. And he also threw for over 200 yards. That's your quarterback. He's going to have a field day against the Cowboys. But that rounds out my defensive start and sit for the week for the Better Days lineup. Tell me how you feel. Tell me what you see. Tell me what you think. Tell me what I need to do to help you become who we all need to be.
I'm not gonna lie, this is easily the best list that we've done so far, and it's because I feel like defenses right now are pretty much no-brainers on who you should start and who you should sit. Just in my personal opinion, you know, other people may say differently, but there's some obvious injuries. There's some obvious starting rookie quarterbacks. If you don't agree with this list, I'm not going to say you're wrong. You just might be misguided, okay? You might be misguided. But we really appreciate you stopping by this episode of the podcast. If you are somebody new, you should make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell to get notified every time I post a video. And leave a comment in the comment section down below of how you feel about this list specifically. Like I said, I think it's damn near perfect, but we would love to see or read your comments down there. And we will see you in the next one. Peace.